Hey, welcome to episode 22 of Project Geo. I'm Adam Simmons,
I'm Andrew Carriola.
and this episode we're going to be talking about fantasy maps. But first off, we're going to be hitting up to some of the news items for the week. The first item I have on the list is Digital Globe Top Images of the Year. I think I first saw this in GIS Lounge. Take a look at this. What it actually is, you can vote. I'm sorry, but I saw it first off in JS Lounge, but I read a more in-depth post off of the Google Earth blog. Give proper credit to our link. But you can vote for the Digital Globe's top images of the year. They just like a lot of the other imagery producers, such as GeoEye, they do a gallery of really nice-looking satellite image shots, and you can take a look at what the best one is off their gallery is. So take a look at it. Give a vote, and hopefully we'll be able to feature their top image of the year when all the votes are complete. Next up in the news, if Andrea wants to cover that one real quick. No? Okay, well, I got this. It's okay. Google Maps for iOS was downloaded 10 million times in 48 hours. So as you know, a little bit less than a week ago, Google Maps has been available for iOS now. We are definitely interested to hear your feedback about it. All I hear is good things about it. I'm an Android user, just bought Nexus 4, as you saw from last episode, or the episode before with Mason and I. But you can see how popular Google Maps is, the return, I should say, of Google Maps to iOS is. But definitely give us your feedback, and we'll post a link out if you want to read more about that if you're not aware of what's going on. Along with that, there's a lot of tidbits and tips and tricks of using Google Maps. A lot of people want to use it with Siri. So TechCrunch, first article I saw related to this, but there's a couple out since then, released a simple trick to use Google Maps with Siri. We'll post that link, just like all the others, within the event notes. Also on our YouTube page as well, with the episode page. So, going into the main topic, we're going to keep this somewhat short this episode. We wanted to change things up a little bit. Seems how it's the holidays, and not to say there's not much Geo news, but something near and dear to Andrea's heart.
This is really in support of The Hobbit that just came out recently, and I've been waiting months to cover this topic. Fantasy maps related to geospatial technology. Some of you may or may not be gamers or read fantasy or science fiction novels. Basically, non-Earth maps, non-Mars, non-lunar maps, but maps that people have created, such as Tolkien for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. If you play video games, I don't play WoW anymore, but they're actually really in-depth maps for a lot of video games, including World of Warcraft, what WoW means. And that uses geospatial technology. So if you are interested in learning more about geospatial interests, or if you're a game developer but you also have a geospatial bent, that is another avenue that geospatial technology is used in. So we're not going to get into some of the really robust game API maps like World of Warcraft or EverQuest or that kind of thing, but we are going to cover a couple. Of course, Lord of the Rings, basically Middle-earth maps. We're going to talk a little bit about Game of Thrones from the Song of Ice and Fire, the J.R.R. Martin books. Skyrim, we've both played that. It's awesome. That's from the Elder Scrolls series, and we're also going to cover some Call of Duty maps.
All right, well, let's dive right into it, and because I definitely want to start screen sharing here, and instead of looking at our faces, and yes, we are wearing twin Stargate T-shirts, by the way. It just came in the mail today. I had to geek out on that. By the way, just in case people say, it says no place like home. That's right. Okay, most ridiculous thing ever. Let's see. Let's screen share this real quick. Gonna bring up the Game of Thrones map first, and I've been keeping track of this. And Mason Rothman, who's not here on this episode, he really got me into Game of Thrones, and I just completed both seasons. I never read the books. She did.
Yeah, I have all the
books. We're just watching this series.
I read all the books before it was a series.
Got me real psyched up, and of course, as I'm listening and watching the show, I've been real fascinated with where things are taking place geographically in this this fantasy world. So let me do a screen share. So let me make that a big screen. As you can see here, I love the IGN maps out there. IGN.com has a couple maps related to different fantasy maps out there. This is overlaid, looks like on top of possibly a Google Maps or OpenStreetMaps type of in the background. I haven't quite dived into the source code yet, but
well, and to add to that, a lot of the fantasy maps that I've encountered that people have been creating from a map and then adding geospatial data to, they've been using the Google Maps engine for it.
So let's go through some of the features that this encompasses here. I like the filter they have here. You can look at all the different houses that are around the what's the main continent called? Westboro or
Westeros?
Westeros, that's it. See, all the different cities. So you can look at the different cities, find out where King's Landing is, or Winterfell, which is up here, by the way. See, I nearly got this map memorized. Figure out there's the wall right there. You kind of see with the geographic line and the terrain. It's clear difference in the geography there, right? You also have, what I thought was most impressive of one of the characters. What's her name?
Daenerys?
Daenerys, yes. She got jumped around a little bit, starting off, I believe, in. She got jumped around through this part over in Vostok, when she was married to that barbarian. And at the end of season 2, we saw her in Korth, which is all the way down south. So quite a ways from the main continent. But overall, you can see the different filters here. You can see the castles, the different regions, historical events related to the story itself. And you can even look at where the episodes are played out from season to season. This is also something I kept track of while I was watching the show. Helped me understand how the story goes and some of the strategies they're talking about throughout the series.
So one thing that's really great about these applications is if you are a fan of any kind of books that actually have a map in the front, there are a lot of forms, not just fantasy and science fiction, but historical fiction, historical books. A lot of them have maps in the front cover or the back cover, and these are great because what they do is they take that same map that the artist or the author had drawn for it, and they have put it into digital format and then update it so it has all the same data that the author originally had for it, but it's interactive and it uses geospatial information and overlays. So that's why this kind of technology is really interesting, and it just adds a lot more, as Adam said, to the book reading or the episode watching experience, because you can use it to reference more easily.
Okay, so one last thing I'll touch on, at least as far as the Game of Thrones category, and this comes from some, I'll call them some colleagues now, because on Google Plus, they're Fantastic Maps, the Fantastic Maps page, I should say. We asked them, we realized they post a lot of fantasy map related items in Google Plus, so we asked them, hey, what's some good posts that you want us to share, you'd like us to share on the episode? And they pointed us to the Lands of Fire and Ice, Ice and Fire on Amazon, which is a all-encompassing, I'd say, book or poster. It's advertising as a poster, but it looks like a collection of maps related to the entire known world in Game of Thrones. And it's almost like an atlas, so it covers different parts of the world in detail, as well as various cities, too. And we'll post that link in case you got any. You all are real big fans of the series and want to look that up. It costs. Let's see, how much is this? It's a special price is $25.96 on Amazon right now. So next up, we are going to touch on Skyrim. There's a bunch of different good maps in Skyrim, but for those of you who don't know, Skyrim has been a real popular Elder Scrolls game here over the last year on Xbox, PlayStation 3, as well as PC. And one of the interesting things about Skyrim is there's a real awesome interactive map within the game that you can explore the world with, and but there's also some good desktop maps you can explore and strategize where you want to go next before you even get on Xbox.
Well, I want to talk briefly about what they have actually in the game itself. So you get the world map to start out with, And what they do is they have place markers for where you need to go for your quest, and they change the color for where you have been versus where your quest will lead you. And it helps guide you, like gives you an arrow so you can continue to know. And it brings up hot spots nearby and that kind of thing. And then you can also place your own custom markers. So if there's something you want to explore later, you have that marker to remind you. So those are the features that come within the game. And a lot of video games have something similar to that also. So that's for Skyrim, but a lot of other games, that's a fairly standard feature.
So as you can see right away that you can see this is a map, another IGN map. This is actually one I'm not. I'm sorry, what?
Screen share?
Yes, I am screen share.
Okay.
So this is another IGN map. It doesn't bring out some of the features you see in the game map. Let me show you a quick comparison real quick. Is that showing up? Yeah. So here's the actual Skyrim map here. I can zoom out. It still looks a little bit different, but you can turn on the different markers and holds. One thing I think that it's an art to realize as a map maker, or especially a fantasy map maker, is I always desire the map to be to the extent of the browser. I don't like looking in small windows like this. So as I'm scrolling around, you can see. But you know, I'll say, just kind of back on topic, that Skyrim has been one of the more in-depth and detailed maps I've seen geography-wise. With one standout feature is the throat of the world, the mountain there. That's the one massive landmark within the world itself. It's an awesome place to explore, massive, and a great game to play as a single-player game anyway. So it doesn't get you stuck in there like WoW does. You know, you can play a couple hours a day or actually be done with the game fairly quickly and not waste your life away.
But we're not playing video games right now.
We're not. So anyway, there's some two differences in map styles too, by the way, between IGN and this custom-made map on Tamriel. And it looks like a different country. I don't know what PS is.
So Tamriel is the name of the country that the Elder Scrolls or that Skyrim takes place in. So.
Okay. So let me stop screen sharing there for a second. We'll go on to our last. Okay, next map topic. It's not our last one. I want to talk about Call of Duty. Okay, so I'm a huge Call of Duty fan, and I can't believe I've gone to a lot of websites. I don't go to the websites very often. Most of the time I play multiplayer. But recently, with a lot of the zombie maps that come out on Call of Duty, I've been kind of resulting in the wiki because I'm really fascinated with the Easter eggs. My point is, though, I'd say with the last two Call of Duties, they've done something called Call of Duty Elite, which is real great because you can also look at each of the maps and use the metrics to figure out where you've been killed, where other people have been killed, and figure out what geographic location is a bad spot for you and adjust your tactics accordingly. So that's one thing I like about Call of Duty within the game. And when I get a chance, I'll try to take some screenshots or some snapshots from my camera next time I play. I know I have a density map somewhere I have on my main profile. But let me screen share this one map. So many of you may be familiar with Black Ops 2. Let's see here. Black Ops 2, if you're a zombie fan, you can see here, this is the transit map. They have a new style of zombie maps where you can actually ride a bus around to different locations trying to complete various Easter egg kind of tasks, or you can just go around, escape the zombies, last as long as you can, just have a great time. But this is a very massive map, and that's one of the reasons why, and a very interactive map too. It's one of the reasons why it's so popular. You just don't wait for zombies or buy stuff on walls. But this geographic, I was always wondering what the map looks like because I'm always getting lost. Sorry about that, everybody. We just lost connection, had some technical difficulties. So we're back in. I'll have to combine these videos on YouTube later. But yeah, so we're going to finish up our episode, and let me see here.
So before our technical difficulties, we were talking about Call of Duty maps.
I'm not going to touch too much on that. Basically, you get the point. I'm going to show some links with Call of Duty in the episode notes. You can check out some of the maps and I also and share some of the density plots. Actually, I think that's a real good best practice with other things too outside of gaming. Has a lot of real life applications in terms of social map dynamics that they use, and I might, depending on how much detail going in my notes, I might just, who knows, maybe I'll make a separate session for that with some game fanatics later or something.
Everyone loves density maps. They're great for so many purposes.
Okay, so the next, last thing on our...
What you have all been waiting for.
I know, right? Lord of the Rings.
So maps of Middle-earth. So this applies to more than Lord of the Rings. Of course, there's The Hobbit. But for those of you who don't know, I have an atlas. I can't show it to you because it's currently packed up in a box. But I have this Maps of Middle-earth atlas. And Tolkien himself hand-drew the maps for all of Middle-earth. So if you have one of the books, the maps in the front, he drew those. But in the atlas, he details, of course, all of Middle-earth, but he actually does a lot of close-up drawings of a wide variety of locations within Middle-earth, and he talks about the histories. J.R.R. Tolkien was really big in the histories of everything that happened in all the locations. So there's a lot of really cool geospatial data within these atlases that some Tolkien and Middle-earth enthusiasts have provided a digital product for. So there are a couple maps you can find for Middle-earth, interactive ones that they plot timelines, locations, events happening at different locations, and it's all based on his original drawings, modified.
Okay, so we're going to look at this map here. You can see where Hobbittown is, the Green Havens, Rivendell up here, Mine of Moria. You just follow the whole trail down for the journey of the Lord of the Rings overall. Let's see, I'm trying to find, is that where the Misty Mountain is? Right there?
No, the Misty Mountains is a mountain range. These are the Misty Mountains.
There we go. I'm just trying to find the big one where the
Lonely Mountain? Okay,
Lonely Mountain.
So Erebor is the Lonely.
There we go. That's
Mountain.
looks familiar. Up there.
Yeah.
So they don't have this. This is mainly pertaining to Middle-earth as applies to Lord of the Rings. You can see Mount Doom, the Black Tower. But you have all the labels down here. As soon as I get the there we go. Turn them off and on. I can share them. So this is a very friendly map to look at and explore. Looks like, once again, based off of a kind of a Google Maps API in the background as I'm looking at the different controls up here.
Is this the map that shows the paths of the different journeys? Or is that a different one we were looking at?
It looks like it might with the dotted lines here.
No, that's from the original map.
Okay.
So this isn't the particular one, but you can find maps. We ran across one over the last week that actually shows different layers, so you can actually track the journeys. So whether it's the Fellowship of the Ring, or the Hobbit from those two stories, or within Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship actually splits off at different parts, and you can see which party goes where, whether it's Sam and Frodo going to Mordor, or if it's Pippin and Merry going to the Tower, whatever it is. So there's some cool things that they do with that information that you can see geospatially in a digital format, which is really the exciting part. Taking these hand-drawn maps from all these books and presenting them in a digital format for our use.
Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is it's related to Lord of the Rings, but let's say you wanted to go visit New Zealand. New Zealand, as you can see from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, is a very, very beautiful place, right? Everybody wants to go see New Zealand now, and even New Zealand is really monetizing on advertising based off of this newfound love for their country. As you can see here by this site, Explore Middle Earth by visiting New Zealand, right? You can scroll down here, and this is the island of New Zealand where I think pretty much all of Lord of the Rings was shot.
Yeah. And The Hobbit. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
You can see the different places where you can see the H's were where The Hobbit was shot.
Mm-hmm.
You have recommended destinations. It zooms into the specific location. You can see where Hobbit Town is in New Zealand. They actually rebuilt an entire Hobbit Town. So before it was just set pieces or set temporary, set houses, but they actually built a real Hobbit Town, not just for the Hobbit, but as a tourist location as well. And you can also zoom out and see the different areas here, how it relates to some of the scenery here. I'm going to zoom out, and there's actually a better spot down here. Actually, here we go. The mountains of New Zealand. If you can imagine, that looks pretty familiar from the movies.
Is that where they filmed Misty Mountains?
I think they might have been probably actually.
Well, these tell you what part of the story, right?
You have to watch the videos, to be honest, just for the sake of the episode and time.
So that's cool. In these, as you can see, they have embedded videos explaining, giving like a little brief 30-second preview of that location, and they explain where in the movie it pertains. So that's cool. Geospatial information with embedded videos.
Oh, it looks at interviews with Andy Serkis, who played as Golem, by the way. So.
The voice of.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, he did the movement acting for it, of course.
Okay. Well, anyway, check that out, and we're gonna start wrapping things up for episode 22. Let's see here. I really do not have. Of course, I'm screen sharing our notes, which isn't bad. You guys are gonna see them anyway. I don't have much else. Maybe a couple of mentions. Come check out our Project Geo community page in Google+, as well as the GIS Geek, or sorry, it's called GIS Geeks. No, it's called Geo Geeks now. The Geo Geeks community page. It's changed names once or twice. There's also a couple other ones out there. The Google Earth community page. Go check that out. As well as there's this Spanish version as well. So out of Barcelona, Spain, from was it Juan Carlos Sierra? I think he made that one. That community page. So if you want a Spanish version of the Google Earth community page, go check that one out too. I'm going to quickly do my Google Earth screen share of the week, and I'm going to do this in Google Earth Live so you all can see how I do it in case no one's ever tried this before. Let's see here, screen share. So I'm screen sharing Google Earth right now, as you can see. I love the tour guide at the bottom. Let's see, what's a good place?
New Zealand.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, let's go to New Zealand. That's a good idea. And there's New Zealand right there on the map. Let me go up. Actually, you know what impressed me about New Zealand is how far south it is. And let's see.
What impresses me is you can go to the beach, and very shortly you can go skiing in the same day.
There's the mountain range down there. And which one should I do here? I like these. Let's go here. Let's check out the mountains here. It's going into tour mode. Oh no.
It's alright.
Make it stop. Okay, here we go. There's the mountain peaks. I want to do a good angle, get a good angle of the mountains here.
So this is cool. If you can't visit New Zealand yourself, because it's really far away for some of us, unless you live there, then it's not far.
Filthy rich.
So you can, of course, do the fly-through. We've talked about that for the Google tours before. So if you want to feel like you're in the Hobbit, you can do a Google tour on Google Earth.
Yeah. I gotta log in real quick. There we go. You have to log into Google Earth first. And I'm going to screen share this nice, beautiful mountain here. Oh, it's kind of flickering out.
Sure is.
There we go. And that's as simple as that. You can see it pops up into Google Plus here as soon as it's done loading. Bam. I'm going to cancel this, but actually, even though I cancel this, it still submits it to my Google Plus albums anyway, for everybody's information. So you can go into your Google Plus albums, and you'll find it pretty fast. And I typically go back to my albums and move it right away. I'm not logged into my other account right now, so let's see. Let me bring up. There we go. Sorry. But I'll typically move it to my Google Earth Images, my massive folder where there's 125 some odd some odd images. I'll do that in Picasa because it's still easier to manage and organize in Picasa than Google Plus still. So, any last words before we end the episode, Andrea?
Just another shout out to Fantastic Maps for their input. We love it when people post things or want to add to our episodes. We encourage you all to do it. So thank you very much to them. If any of you are interested in sharing anything or requesting a topic or posting your own experiences with fantasy maps, we'd love to hear it and reshare it for you.
One more last tidbit. Next week, if everybody knows, we're going to actually be talking a little about, well, we're going to have a Christmas special. Hopefully we're going to, probably not going to, hopefully people watch, but we're going to still show it anyway. Next Tuesday's Christmas. We might show the episode, air the episode early, but we will talk about, everybody loves the Santa tracker every year, and that's geospatially related. And guess what? This year they're doing a Bing Maps-based map, so I'd like to check that out too.
And that'll probably be on Monday.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm Adam Simmons.
I'm Andrea Carroll with Project Geo.
Have a good day.